السلام عليكم، صباح الخير للجميع. أهلا بكم في الأورينتيشن سيشن بتاعي. أنا حابة بس في البداية إن أنا أعرف بنفسي. أنا دكتور إحسان سعيد. أنا درست في كلية الطب ومعايا ماسترز في الميكروبيولوجي، وبشتغل as a biology teacher من حوالي 22 سنة تقريباً. بدأت إن أنا أدرس الانترناشونال كورسز من أكتر من 17 سنة. اشتغلت كامبريدج أند إدكسل. وطبعا بالنسبة لموضوعنا النهاردة عن AS إدكسل، بالنسبة للكورس بتاع ES هو بيتكون من 3 يونتس. ممكن ندخلهم في نوفمبر لو أخذنا حصص مكثفة، وممكن نقسمهم على يونتس. يعني ممكن قوي ان بقسم على يونتس، مثلا ادخل في نوفمبر يونت 1 and 2 او ايفن يونت 1. ممكن ادخل جان اكمل جون and so on. ميزه الإدكسل ان ممكن ان انا اقسم الكورس كله على كذا سيشن. بالنسبه للامتحان بيبقى يونت 1، بيبقى الامتحان بتاعه حوالي ساعة ونص، وبتبقى الدرجة بتاعته out of 80. يونت 2 نفس الحكاية. يونت 3 بتبقى الامتحان حوالي ساعة وتلت أو ساعة ونص. قبل كده كان ساعة وتلت، وكانت الدرجة من 40 بس. في 2019 في جون عملوه ساعة ونص والدرجة كانت من 50. بالنسبة لأسئلة الامتحانات، هي فكرتها ما بتكونش صعبة، يعني بيعتبر الامتحان إلى حد ما أسهل أو أقصر من امتحان كامبريدج. بس الإدكسل دايما بيعتمد على وجود some keywords. الكيوردز دي لو مش موجودة في الانسر بتاع الستودنت، فعلى طول الاكزامينر بيخصم يا إما من الدرجات، يا إما لو الدرجة بتبقى بسيطة 1 مارك أو 2 ماركس أو whatever، بتتخصم الدرجة كلها لمجرد ان الكيوردز مش موجودة. طب انا اعرف منين الكيوردز دي بتتعرف مع الحل الكتير. يعني انا دايما بنصح الستودنتس بتوعي ان after each topic او even after each chapter ان لازم يكون حالل الكلاسيفايد questions اللي عليه كلها، وبعد ما بيحل بيبتدي يبص في المارك سكيم عشان يعمل comparison ما بينه وما بين الكوريكت answers. طيب نفترض ان الطالب كاتب الاجابه صح بس بطريقه معينه او according to what he understood. ده حاجه كويسه جدا طبعا، ان you have to understand what you are learning. لكن إدكسل بالذات لازم تكون كاتب الانسرز بطريقه معينه covering وبتكون الانسرز covering all the keywords اللي مطلوبه في السؤال دهوت. زي ما قلت لكم قبل كده ان الكيوردز بعرف هي ايه المطلوب مني بالظبط ان انا اكتبه لما ببص بعد كده في المارك سكيم، واقدر اعرف ايه اللي المفروض يتكتب في حاجه زي دي. في بعض الكويستشنز اللي هي زي اللونج كويستشنز او ساعات بيسموها the essay questions، بتبقى عليها 6 ماركس 8 ماركس. طبعا ده رقم كبير، فبيبقى مطلوب دايما مش بس كيوردز، كمان الكوريكت سبيلنج. بيبقى صعب قوي ان الواحد بيبقى بيكتب وبيكتب مثلا wrong spelling. فطبعا اللي بيذاكر بليز يعني you have to take care of your spelling، وبالاخص scientific expressions ان لازم بتبقى مكتوبه in the correct spelling. طيب بالنسبه مثلا لحصص زي بتاعتي او لما بكون بدرس لطالب او لجروب او whatever، أنا دايما بعد كل تشابتر بدي للطالب الكلاسيفايد كويستشنز، بيحلها ويبعتها لي تاني محلولة، وأنا أصححها وأرجعها له تاني وأبعت له كمان المارك سكيم بتاعها. كلاسيفايد كويستشنز ممكن تتجاب من أي مكان، موجودة في المكاتب وكده، بس أنا ليا الكلاسيفايد كويستشنز بتاعتي، ليا النوتس بتاعتي اللي بديها للطالب، بتبقى من ضمن شغل الحصة يعني. طب هل بدي نوتس كامله؟ لا، انا بدي النوتس او الجزء اللي اتدرس. طيب ايه الفرق ما بين النوتس بتاعتي وما بين الكتاب؟ مثلا في بعض الطلبه بتحب تمسك كتاب في ايدها وتقرا، كويس، بس الكتاب انا ما بفضلهوش قوي. في بعض الستودنتس برضو بيتضايقوا من ان هم يذاكروا من الكتاب، لان بيبقى حاطط المعلومه از ستوري، يعني بتبقى في باراجرافز كده كلها متجمعه على بعض. لكن لما باجي اذاكر لامتحان يبقى انا لازم اشوف ايه البوينتس اللي المفروض تتكتب. بالنسبه للنوتس انا ببقى مقسمه الموضوع in points حسب المطلوب او اللي المفروض يتكتب. فده بالنسبه للسيشنز. وزي ما قلت ان انا بدي classified questions after each chapter. بعد كل topic لازم بعمل كويز، وبيتبعت او بيتعمل اونلاين، يعني بيبقى محطوط الكويز قدام الطالب وبيجاوب in a paper in front of him او in front of them. وبعد كده اول ما التايم بيبقى خلاص خلص بياخدوا الكويزز دهيت او الحل بتاعهم، يعملوا له سكاننج ويبعتوه لي عشان اعمل له تشيكنج. وبرده بعد ما بعمل تشيكنج ببعت للطالب نسخه والولي الامر نسخه. يعني انا دايما بطلب الايميل بتاع ولي الامر كمان عشان يبقى في فولوينج اب في البيت اللي الطالب شغال بيه. لو محتاج مثلا يعني ان يكون في تنبيه، في ساعات طلبه مثلا بتهمل الى حد ما يعني ماده. طبعا انا متاكده ان كل الطلبه ما دام مختارين بيولوجي مش هيهملوها يعني، او ممكن يذاكر شويه وما يذاكرش بعد كده، او يعني يفصل ما بين المذاكره والراحه، يرتاح اكتر شويه في الماده دي. فطبعا احنا داخلين امتحان، والامتحان قريب لو على نوفمبر سيشن، فلازم يكون في اهتمام كامل ويكون في متابعه في البيت كمان. وانا بدي على طول فيدباك لولي الامر على مستوى الطالب، سواء في الحصه هل بيعمل بارتيسيبيشن او لا، هل هو منتبه معايا في السيشن او لا. مفيش وقت ان احنا ما ننتبهش او ان احنا ما نتابعش. بعد ما بيخلص اليونت بعمل عليه موك اكزام، وبعد كده بدخل على اليونت اللي بعده. وبالتاكيد الموك اكزام بعد ما بيتصحح برضو بيتبعت نسخه للطالب بالمارك سكيم بتاعه ونسخه لولي الامر. لما بصحح اي هوم ورك او اي كويز او وات ايفر، انا لازم لو في اي ميستيك بحط الموديل انسر على الورقه، بس بشرط الطالب يبقى بعتها لي PDF عشان اقدر ان انا اكتب عليها. فده بالنسبه للشغل. بالنسبه بقى للبراكتيكال، البراكتيكال بالتاكيد بيبقى alternative، ما فيش شغل بالايد، بيعتمد على برضو الدراسه بتاعتنا. just a second، في حد بيبعت مسج، دقيقه واحده. AP Biology is same as IG. لا، ال AP ده American. ال AP American Board، مش إيدكسل ولا IG. لا، أنا ما بدرسش أمريكان حقيقي وما حاولتش أدرسه، يعني أنا اكتفيت بالIG والإيدكسل. I'm sorry، لا ما عنديش فكرة عن ال AP because this is an American board، مش تبع الإيدكسل أو الآي جي، مش بريتش يعني. طيب بالنسبة للبراكتيكال هو بيجي أسئلة. الأسئلة دي طبعا بتعتمد على اللي احنا درسناه، دي نمبر 1، بلس إن لازم الإكسبيرمنتس أو الانفستيجيشنز اللي تبع أي جزء بيكون الطالب عارفها، مذاكرها، قراها كتير، لأن بيجي فيه question describe an experiment. فطب اعمل ايه لو انا مش قاريه؟ طيب هل القرايه بس كفايه؟ طبعا انا during the sessions بشرح الاكسبيرمنتس كلها. لو انا ببيكتشرز، لو انا محتاجه اني احط فيديو علشان يعمل confirmation to what I'm explaining، طبعا بحط الفيديو. وعلى فكره during حتى يونت 1 و 2 لو حاجه محتاجه الفيديو فانا بحط الفيديو، بس بيكون مدته قصيره طبعا عشان ما ياخدش وقت السيشن كله. انا بالنسبه للكورس اللي هبتديه هعمله compressed، يعني هيبقى مكثف، هيبقى يومين في الاسبوع، الحصه 3 ساعات عشان الحق اخلص الاي اس كله عشان الطالب يلحق امتحان نوفمبر. بالتاكيد بعد ما بخلص كل السيشنز او كل الكلاسز انا دايما اخد تقريبا الاي اس في حوالي 30 كلاسز، وكل كلاس بيبقى ساعتين. ممكن يقلوا عن كده، ممكن يزيدوا شويه عن كده، مش مشكله. بس الفكره ان انا دايما بخلص قبل الامتحان، ميعاد الامتحان بحوالي شهر، ببدا فيه على طول حل الباست بيبرز، وما بحلش بس النيو سيلبس. النيو سيلبس بدا من 2018 فما فيش باست بيبرز كافيه ليه على الانترنت. طب ايه الفرق ما بين الاولد والنيو سيلبس؟ الفرق مش كتير على فكره، هم لاغيين بعض حاجات وحاطين حاجات قليله جدا عن الاولد سيلبس. فانا بحل الامتحانات عموما من الاولد ومن النيو سيلبس، والجزء اللي في الاولد اللي ما درسناهوش خلاص ما بحلش السؤال بتاعه. لكن بيكون في اسئله مشتركه كتير ما بين الاولد اند نيو سيلبس. ده بالنسبه للانترودكشن على الكورس ده. لو حد عنده any question please feel free to ask me. حبيبه بتقول I'm going to take only unit 1 in November. اوكي يا حبيبه، لو انت هتاخدي معايا فانت بتدرسي يونت 1 وبعدين انا بكمل يونت 2 and 3 وبتدخلي تاني في وقت الريفيجن، بتعملي الباست بيبرز معايا. بالتاكيد بتبقي واخده الكلاسيفايد كله متصحح وكل حاجه، بيبقى عندك enough time to study to revise، وبتدخلي على الباست بيبرز متاكده من نفسك جدا. Thank you يا حبيبه. Any more questions? Because I'm going now to start explaining a part of unit 1 على أساس تبقوا برضو شايفين طريقة الشرح. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me before I start. طيب okay, maybe there are no more questions, so أنا هقفل الشات دلوقتي بس عشان واخد جزء من البورد، و if you have any question, please ask me. Just a second to prepare it. Okay. طيب the part that I'm going to explain ده chapter 2 من unit 1 وبيتكلم على ال circulation. What's meant by circulation here? It means the carriage of materials from some place to another. And these materials, they will circulate to reach this their destiny أو the cells. دايما الدستني بتاعنا بتكون السيلز. The materials, they are gathered from certain parts of the body and they circulate in the body to reach the cells. In order to allow these materials to circulate throughout the body, there must be a carrying medium to carry the materials to the cells. This carrying medium is the blood. فعشان كده we say that the blood is carrying the materials. Another word for carrying is transporting materials. So this means that the blood is transporting materials from where they are found to the cells. The materials that are carried by the blood, we know the nutrients or the digested food, of course, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and wastes. Other wastes, يعني. The nutrients and oxygen, they are carried by the blood to the cells, while the carbon dioxide and other wastes, they are carried from the cells to where they are going to be released out of the body, or in other words, to be excreted. Blood is a part of a very important system that is found in complex animals, which is called the transporting system. And we can call it, of course, the circulatory system. But I just said a word in the complex animals. طب are there simple animals? Actually, we do not call them animals. They are cells, but they are simple organisms. For example, if I have a simple organism like bacteria, bacteria is always found in a certain medium, and this medium contains all the requirements of the bacteria. So because bacteria is a simple organism, so the materials pass from the medium to the inside of the bacterial cell by diffusion. Of course, you've already known what's the meaning of diffusion. It means the passage of particles from a medium or from a region of higher concentration here in the medium, and the particles, they move to the region of lower concentration inside the cell. And the same happens for the wastes that are released by bacteria. They are going again to diffuse from where they are formed to the outside. along طبعا أو down the concentration gradient. This is the process by which the simple organisms, they allow the particles to move to the inside of their cells or get out of the cell. Another kind of process is for the passage of water, which is osmosis. And of course, osmosis again happens as a result of passage of water from higher water potential to lower water potential down the water potential gradient. There is no need for a transporting system in such simple organisms. But what about the complex organisms? Complex organisms, they have a transporting system or a circulatory system. So if I want to classify the kinds of circulatory systems, we have two kinds. We have open circulatory system and we have closed circulatory system. These are two types of circulatory systems. So where is the open circulatory system found? It is found only in insects. It means that there are no blood vessels to allow the blood to move. بلاقي إن the materials that enter the body, they can be scattered inside the body cavity. We have nothing to do with this except only, what does this mean? We are dealing with the closed circulatory system, and we have two kinds. We have the single circulation. I'm going to show you now a picture, and a double circulation. The single circulation is found in fish, while the double circulation is found in higher organisms. But let me add this picture for the simple or for the single circulation to explain what's meant by this word. Here is a fish. What is the annotation? I cannot find the annotation. Type. Okay, I will try to make arrows. Mr. Muhammad, are you with us? I'm not allowed to use annotation. I don't have the annotation on a toolbar.
Yes, we had to disable it because yesterday a big problem happened, so it won't be available, unfortunately.
But I will not be able to point. I need arrows and I need to write something on the picture. احنا ممكن نعمل disable للانوتيشن بتاع participants, but not to me.
إنه ده ممكن، بس هو امبارح كان يعني مشكلة كبيرة قوي.
أنا أخدت بالي قريت. طيب أنا ممكن مش عارفة أتصرف إزاي because I have to write on the pictures. طيب you can see that the front of the head of the fish, it has gill capillaries. It's written on the picture, and these are the capillaries that are found inside the gills. The gills are the organs for breathing. There's a difference between breathing and respiration. Breathing means the taking in oxygen or getting out of carbon dioxide by inhalation and exhalation. So these gills, they are covered by a certain cover in the fish, which is called operculum. when the fish opens this operculum during its presence in water, so the water will pass over the gills, and these capillaries will extract the oxygen that is found in water. الأكسجين طبعا بيبقى dissolved in water، يعني الfish does not extract the oxygen of the H2O. No. Oxygen from the air dissolves in the water بتاعت مثلا oceans, the seas, the rivers, whatever. فالgill capillaries are going to extract the oxygen from this water that is dissolved in water, and oxygen will pass through the red arteries that are found at the top of the fish. And these arteries, they are filled, of course, with oxygenated blood now. And oxygenated blood is going to pass to all parts of the fish or to all cells to give the oxygen and take away carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide and other wastes, they are found in these blue veins, and the blood is deoxygenated like this, carrying carbon dioxide and wastes, and it will pass through the heart. And then from the heart, the blood will pass to the gills to release the carbon dioxide out. This means that the blood passes through the heart only once. That's why it is called a single circulation. But what about the double circulation? Let me add this picture. This is a picture of the human circulation, or in most of the animals, they have this kind of circulation, higher animals, of course. And here we have the heart in the middle, and we have the arteries, we have the veins. Arteries are always colored in red because the blood is oxygenated, and the oxygenated blood is bright red in color, while the deoxygenated blood بيبقى الكالر بتاعه is very dark red، بيبقى داخل على البلاك. فهو universally they agreed that the color will be blue. Here, as you can see, that the oxygenated blood, it gets through the heart coming from the lungs. So this is the passage of blood for the first time passing through the heart, and then the oxygenated blood will pass through the cells to receive carbon, to give oxygen and receive carbon dioxide, to return back in the veins to the heart once more. It means that the blood will pass through the heart twice, or in 2 times. This is what's meant by a double circulation. Of course, our circulation as human beings, this is a double circulation. The circulatory system in humans or in higher animals, let me explain about humans because this is our topic. The circulatory system is formed of the heart. It is formed of blood vessels that carry blood. Of course, the blood vessels, we have 3 types. We have arteries carrying oxygenated blood from the heart to all the body cells, except one artery that I'm going to explain now. Veins, they usually carry the deoxygenated blood from the cells to the heart, and capillaries. And the third component of the circulatory system is the blood. But let me start by the heart. What is the heart? We say that the heart is a hollow muscular organ. The word muscular means that the material of the heart is made of muscles, and the type of muscles is specific for the heart, and it is called the cardiac muscle. Of course, we have 2 other types of muscles, but this kind of muscle is specific for the heart only. The cardiac muscle, it allows the heart to contract and relax in order to pump the blood to all parts of the body. What's the size of the heart? If you are going to clench your fist or to close the fist tightly, you can know the size of your heart. If I draw the heart, of course, I'm going to add a picture. The heart is conical in shape. It looks like a cone. and it is surrounded from outside by a very, very delicate membrane surrounding the whole heart. This membrane is called the pericardium. The pericardium is just a membrane that surrounds the heart. It gives the heart protection, and in between the heart and this very delicate membrane, there is a sort of fluid which is called the pericardial fluid, and this fluid is like a lubricant or an oily fluid to allow the heart to contract and relax smoothly. Let me add this picture to the heart, the human heart here. It's a picture from outside and from inside. The picture to the left, it is the heart from outside, and look at the blood vessels that are found in the material of the heart. The very delicate blood vessels in the material of the heart, these are called the coronary arteries and coronary veins, and they are responsible for supplying the cardiac muscle itself with oxygen and taking away its wastes. But why? Because the cardiac muscles, these are muscle fibers, and they need to respire to get energy to be allowed to work. We know that all the muscles, they need energy to work. The cardiac muscle is a kind of muscles, so it needs energy, it needs nutrients, it needs oxygen, and these are supplied by the coronary arteries. And when the cardiac muscles work or respire, they are going to produce the wastes which are carried by the coronary veins. But what about the picture to the right? The picture to the right shows the heart from inside, and it shows that the heart is divided into two sides, a right side and a left side, that are separated from each other by a muscular septum. The word septum means the wall, yani it's colored pink in the middle of the heart. And this wall, it is very, very important because it separates the right side of the heart from the left side of the heart. Right. What is the use of this? Just a second, عشان حصل عندي حاجة. I'm going to reshare this picture. I'm sorry. I lost the picture. Yes. Can you see it in front of you? Because I lost it and I returned it back. شايفين البيكتشر؟ ولا أعمل لها resharing? Just a second. Yes, you can see. Okay, thank you. Two hearts. Yes, thank you. أصل اختفوا من قدامي فعملت لهم resharing once more. Type here, this pink septum in the middle, it separates the two sides of the heart. But why do we need this separation? Because on the left side of the heart, there is oxygenated blood or blood carrying oxygen. On the left side of the heart, this is deoxygenated blood or blood carrying carbon dioxide. Of course, we don't need to mix both kinds of blood. That's why this septum, or this is another word for wall, but scientifically it's called a septum. So it separates both sides of the heart from each other. The reason for the presence of this septum is to prevent the mixture of both kinds of blood. But what about each side of the heart? Each side is divided into two chambers, an upper chamber in both sides, and these chambers, they are called the atria. Atria is a plural word and its singular is atrium. So we have upper chambers, two upper chambers which are called the atria, and they lead to the lower chambers which are called the ventricles. As you can see, there is a white structure in between the two chambers. These are the valves that separate the atria from the ventricles. These valves, they act like gates that when they are closed, so the blood is not passing, and when they are opened, the blood will pass from the atria to the ventricles. after the blood passes to the ventricles, these valves are going to close immediately. Why? Because after the blood passes from atria ventricles, so the ventricles are going to contract, or they are going to pump the blood to the blood vessels, the large blood vessels that are found here. If the valves are open, so blood will return back to the atria, and this is unwanted طبعا. ثواني افتح الشات. You can point using the pen, but I cannot have a pen. Where is the circle? Just a second. Where is the circle here, Mr. Mohammed? I cannot find the circle. أنا عندي الأرو بتاع الماوس only. I mean the cursor. لا. هو الماوس؟ أوكي. أنا فاكرة أصل أنا لما بعمل البورد بيبقى فيه a pen in front of me. طيب if you can see طيب كويس. if the ventricles contract the blood is going on, it's going to pass to this great artery if the valves are not closed. That's why after the passage of blood, the valves have to close. What is controlling the opening and the closure of the valves? The opening and closure of the valves is controlled by two things, by the pressure of the blood and by these structures. These structures are called tendons, and they attach the valves to the walls of the ventricles. So the contraction and relaxation of the ventricles together with the pressure of the blood controls the opening and closure of the valves. As you can see here that we have a valve on the right side of the heart and another one on the left side of the heart. Because these valves are found in between the atria and the ventricles, so these valves are called atrioventricular valves. We have two of them. Between the right atrium and the right ventricle, we have the tricuspid valve. Tri means three. But what about cuspid? Cuspid is a word that comes from the word a cusp. The cusp is just a dome-like membrane or a dome-like structure. A dome, it means that it looks like this, like a dome, as if it is curved. This is a tricuspid valve, or it is formed of three cusps, and the other one is a bicuspid valve. It means that it is formed of two cusps only, and it has another name, the mitral valve. As you can see, that the wall, of course, this drawing, it cannot show me the actual thickness of the atria, but I'm going to explain this here. This is the boundary of the cardiac muscle of the atrium. As you can see that the thickness of the atrial muscle is thinner than that of the ventricular muscle. Why the atria, they have thin walls? Because we know that the cardiac muscle, it contracts to push the blood or to pump the blood. Pushing the blood from the atria to the ventricles does not need too much force. That's why, because of course the ventricles, they're just below the atria. So the distance is very, very short. So that's why we do not need too much or a great thickness for the atria. The contraction here will be slight contraction. And look at the ventricles. Here we have a thicker muscular wall because the ventricles are going to push the blood out of the heart during their contraction. That's why we need more forcible contraction. Again, there is a difference between the thickness of both ventricles. Here, the right ventricle has a thinner wall than the left ventricle because the right ventricle is going to pump the blood through the pulmonary artery. From the pulmonary artery, very, very close to the heart. We know that the heart is in between the lungs and slightly tilted to the left side. يعني it's more related to the left lung than to the right lung, but both of them, they are very close to the heart. So we do not need too much force to pump the blood out to reach the lungs. That's why the wall of the right ventricle is thinner than that of the left ventricle. The left ventricular wall is thicker because when the ventricle contracts, it's going to push the blood through the aorta, and this aorta takes the blood to all parts of the body. So in a single pump of the heart, the blood has to reach every part of the body. That's why it has to pump very, very hard, or I need very thick cardiac muscle to give me a great, or to reach all the cells of the body in the same time. But as you can see, that this is the largest artery of the body, and as soon as it gets out of the heart, this is called the aorta, of course, and as soon as it gets out of the heart, when it makes the arch, it gives branches to the head and neck. My voice is lagging. هي maybe due to internet connection يا حبيبة. يعني now I couldn't receive any note that there is unstable internet. لما بيكون في الانترنت is unstable بيتكتب لي قدامي. I hope that you can hear me properly now. Can you hear me clearly يا حبيبة? And which part did you miss so I can repeat? It's clear now? Okay. طيب يبقى I was talking about the aorta. As soon as it gets out of the heart and makes this arch, it sends branches to the you're welcome يا حبيبة, thank you. It sends the oxygenated blood to the head, to the neck, and to the upper limbs, which are the arms, the forearms, and so on. And then it curves at the back of the body. Look at this. This is the continuation. Of course, it goes to the back, at the back of the body, and during its pathway, it sends branches to every part of the body. And by the way, the aorta ends at the end of the trunk, تقريبا عند urinary bladder, where it divides into two branches. Each branch goes to one of the lower limbs. Type. At the beginning of the aorta, look at this white structure. This is another valve that is found at the beginning of the aorta and the left ventricle. This valve is very important as well, because when the ventricles are empty and they are still filling from the atria, this valve has to close, or else the blood will fill the ventricles and will go to the aorta without any force. So during the passage of blood from the atrium to the ventricle, this valve has to be closed in order to prevent the blood to pass through the aorta without pumping, because at this time the ventricle is relaxing while the blood is passing from the atrium to the ventricles. But as soon as the blood fills the ventricles and the valve is closed between the atrium and the ventricle, this valve opens at once, because the ventricle will contract to allow the blood to pass through the aorta. The same happens here. But this artery is called the pulmonary artery, and as soon as it gets out of the heart, it divides into two branches. One is visible here, and the other one is underneath these vessels. Here it appears from here. Of course, each branch will go to one lung. And again, there is another valve at the origin, or at the beginning of the pulmonary artery, between it and the right ventricle, and it closes and opens the same way I said about the aortic valve. These kinds of valves at the beginning of the big arteries, they are called the semilunar valves, or they looked like crescents of the moon, and that's why they are called semilunar. And this is called the pulmonary semilunar valve, and this is called the aortic semilunar valve. Right. Of course, when the blood is pushed through the aorta, it is oxygenated. And when it reaches all the cells, there is an exchange of gases. That's why the blood has to return to the heart again as deoxygenated blood. The deoxygenated blood will enter the right atrium through these very large veins, one here and one there. This vein is called the superior vena cava, and the other one is called the inferior vena cava. Of course, we know that the word superior means upper and inferior means lower. So this is called superior because it brings the blood from the upper part of the body, while the inferior, it gets blood from the lower part of the body. But how can I know my upper part and my lower part? Just extend your arms. The part above the arms, this is the upper part of the body, and the part below the arms, this is the lower part of the body. So the right atrium is going to receive deoxygenated blood from these very great veins, and they are called the venae cavae, plural. And if I want the singular, this is the superior vena cava, and this is the inferior vena cava. So the deoxygenated blood is collected here, passes to the right ventricle, and thus then delivered through the pulmonary artery. This means that the pulmonary artery is the only artery that contains deoxygenated blood. After the deoxygenated blood reaches the lungs, there is an exchange of gases where the blood leaves carbon dioxide and receives oxygen. Of course, carbon dioxide is going to be released out with our exhalation or breathing out, and this blood in the lungs will be, the carbon dioxide will be replaced by oxygen. And the oxygenated blood will come from the lungs to enter the left atrium through these veins. These veins are called the pulmonary veins, and they are the only veins that carry oxygenated blood in the body. We know that all the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood except these pulmonary veins. So anything called pulmonary, it means that it deals with the lungs. The word pulmonary comes from the word poumon, which is a French word meaning lungs. So pulmonary vein and pulmonary artery, they are related to the junction between the lungs and the heart, and they carry the opposite kind of blood. So here all the veins contain deoxygenated blood except the pulmonary veins. They bring oxygenated blood from the lungs. Pulmonary artery, all the arteries carry oxygenated except this pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood. So if I put another picture for the passage of blood through the heart, I'm going to add this picture just to make a summary about what I said. As you can see, if I will start from here, oxygenated blood will enter through the pulmonary veins, will fill the left atrium, and during filling of the left atrium, this valve has to be closed. This is the mitral valve. It will be closed to allow the filling of blood here. But after filling, the atrial muscle is going to contract, and by its contraction, it's going to, we know that contraction means shortening of the muscle. So when this muscle shortens or contracts, it will allow this volume to decrease. Okay, and you know from our physics that when volume decreases, this means that the pressure will increase. Of course, this is closed, the valve is closed. So here the volume will decrease and the pressure will increase. The pressure of blood will allow the valve to open. So the blood passes from the atrium to the ventricle. After the ventricle is full of blood, so this valve is going to close to allow the ventricle to contract to pass the blood through the aorta, and it goes its pathway and return back deoxygenated to the right side of the heart. Here is the superior vena cava, and this is the inferior one. So the same happens here. So here the valve closes until filling of the right atrium, then contraction of the muscles to decrease volume, increase pressure, and then the pressure will push the valves downward or to open to fill the right ventricles, and then the blood will pass to the pulmonary artery after contraction of the right ventricle. By the way, both sides of the heart, they work together. Yani, there is a very simple delay between working the right side, working the left side. It's a part of a second. My voice was lost. I just said it takes a part of a second. But why? There is a slight delay on the left side than on the right side. This depends. I know that it was lost. That's why I stopped. And clearly the message and the internet connection is unstable. So the contraction and relaxation, or the delay that happens on the left side than the right side, is just بالمilliseconds. يعني it's very, very slight delay. طب why? Because there is something called the heart beats. And let me explain this here on the board. What about the heartbeats? We know that the normal heart, our human heart, it beats in a normal person. It means a healthy person, about from 70 to 75 beats per minute. Taman, I just said a healthy person, or a person at rest, a healthy person at rest. Why did I say this? Because at rest, that means the body is not exercising. If the body is exercising or performing any muscular activities, then the heart rate will be very fast, faster than 75. And there are some conditions that let the heart to be slower than 70. Like, are the heartbeats controlled by the brain? No. The heartbeats are controlled, or they originate from the cardiac muscle itself. That's why we say that the heart muscle is myogenic. The word myo means muscle. We say myocardium, myofibril. Myo is used for the muscles. Here it is myogenic. It means that the heartbeats originate from the cardiac muscles, not under control of the brain. Yani in all the parts of the body, they are controlled by the brain, or they must receive impulses from the brain, and these impulses, they pass through nerves, and then the parts of the body is allowed to work. That's why all parts of the body are neurogenic. Neuro, it means something dealing with the neuron, which is the nerve cell. So all parts of the body, they are under or they obey the orders of the brain. And these orders are passed through the nerves, because the neuron, part of it is the nerve. All the impulses, they come from the brain or the spinal cord to reach every part of the body through nerves. So every part of the body is neurogenic. They must receive orders, but not the cardiac muscle. The cardiac muscle is controlling itself, or the heartbeat originates from the cardiac muscle itself. Does this mean that the brain has nothing to do with the heart? Of course not. The brain controls every part of the body, controlling, but not allowing the beats to originate. What's meant by controlling the heartbeats from the brain? It means that if the body is exercising or needing more energy, this means that the heart must beat faster. This is allowed by certain information coming from the brain to allow the cardiac muscle to beat faster, only for controlling the speed. There are some conditions like depression, for example. This is a psychic disorder, depression. The heartbeats are slower, so the brain, it sends impulses to the heart to slow down. The brain only controls the cardiac muscle to be faster in its heartbeats or in its heart rate, or to be slower. This is the only control. But what about the heartbeats? Where do they originate from? They originate, let me add this picture. Here it is. As I just said, the heartbeat originates from the cardiac muscle itself. So look here at the right atrium. There is a collection of muscle fibers, cardiac muscle fibers, making a node. A node اللي هي حاجة زي عقدة كده, like an elevation, just a slight elevation, which is a collection of the cardiac muscle fibers. And this node is called the sino. Let me zoom this in like this. This is called the Sinoatrial Node. It is found at the beginning or at the origin of the large veins. Look at the superior vena cava, and it is found very near to its origin. So this SA node, you can simply write it capital SAN. This is allowed in the test. The SA node, it just sends like electrical excitatory waves that spread in the right atrium. So that's why the right atrium is the first part of the heart to be affected by the electrical excitation coming from the SA node, because it's present inside the right atrium. So it's the first part to be affected. Later on, after parts of a second, these waves are going to move to the left ventricle, to the left atrium. That's why I said that the left side of the heart, it contracts slightly, slow, or there is a slight delay between the contraction of both sides of the heart because of the passage of the excitatory waves. So here the excitatory wave will affect at the beginning the atrial wall or the cardiac muscle of the atrium, so it starts to contract, and then the excitatory wave passes to the left atrium to contract as well. Then we need the atria to contract in order to evacuate the blood to the ventricles. These ventricles, they do not receive the excitatory wave except when all the blood is evacuated. This means that there is another delay. There is a slight delay, برضو parts of a millisecond, between the contraction of the atria and the ventricles. Then the excitation wave is going to reach another node that is found between the right atrium and the right ventricle. This is called the atrioventricular node, according to where it is found, and simply you can write it AVN. So when the atrioventricular node receives these excitatory waves, so the waves will pass through here another collection of fibers called the bundle of His. His is the, it hasn't to be written in capital letters, only the first letter, the H. This is the name. The bundle of His, here there is another delay, and immediately the excitatory waves will move through branches of this bundle of His. When the branches, they turn round in the apex of the heart. This is the apex, by the way, and this is the base. Here the fibers, they are going to branch a lot through all the ventricular muscles, and these branches, they are called Purkinje fibers or Purkinje fibers. Both of them are correct. But in our books, they write Purkinje fibers. So the first part of the ventricle in which the excitatory waves really act is the apex of the heart. Why? Because the blood is filling all the ventricles, so it's better to be pushed from below upward to run through the aorta and the pulmonary artery. It's cut pulmonary artery. That's why the blood has to be pumped from the apex. Suppose the blood is pumped from here. The part of blood here will not be pumped. It's going to settle down. That's why the apex of the heart has to pump at the beginning and then followed by the rest of the ventricle. This is, look at the direction of these Purkinje fibers. They are directed from below upward. And by this, the whole heart is going to contract, and this is only one heartbeat. Let me show you a video about the heartbeats. Just a second. Where is, just a second to open my YouTube. Give me a second, please. Yes, here it is. I think you can see it now.
The cardiac conduction system consists of the following components: the Sinoatrial Node, or SA node, located in the right atrium near the entrance of the superior vena cava. This is the natural pacemaker of the heart. It initiates all heartbeat and determines heart rate. Electrical impulses from the SA node spread throughout both atria and stimulate them to contract. The atrioventricular node, or AV node, located on the other side of the right atrium near the AV valve. The AV node serves as an electrical gateway to the ventricles. It delays the passage of electrical impulses to the ventricles. This delay is to ensure that the atria have ejected all the blood into the ventricles before the ventricles contract. The AV node receives signals from the SA node and passes them onto the atrioventricular bundle, AV bundle, or bundle of His. This bundle is then divided into right and left bundle branches, which conduct the impulses toward the apex of the heart. The signals are then passed onto Purkinje fibers, turning upward and spreading throughout the ventricular myocardium. Electrical activities of the heart can be recorded in the form of electrocardiogram.
Now, this is what's wanted from you only, electrocardiogram. This is for A2. And you don't have to know much about it in AS. It just describes the activity of the cardiac muscles. And that's all for my session today.